This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. Hello everyone, welcome on in. I'm Velvet. Thanks for joining me today in The Sims 4 for a speed build. And we are at the beach today. It's a lovely sunny day in Sulani and we are making a beach house. We are on the kinship lot in Sulani, which is a 30 by 30 lot, and I'm making a little house for it. Not only though, there's something else I've got to add to this. Not only am I building a little beach house, but I'm building a beach house with a secret. Shh, don't tell anyone. This is actually for a challenge, and the challenge is hosted by Pretty Poison Steph. Thank you for hosting this fabulous challenge, Pretty Poison Steph. And the idea behind this challenge is it was a building challenge, as you can probably guess. And the building challenge was you could build whatever you like, but it had to have a secret. And the secret was just a secret room. It would make you go, that's a bit sus. So that's the idea behind the build challenge. So I made a beach house with a room that makes you go, that's a bit sus. So you'll see the room when I get to there. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is until we get there, but there is a little secret room and it is a little sus. So it'll make you go, this is not all that's normal and right. Anyway, this is a beach house that I decided to do, as I said, on the kinship lot, and I do love building in Sulani. It's one of my very, very favorite worlds that I do like to build in. I was just thinking about that right then, actually. I was like, is this my absolute favorite world? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite, isn't it? We've got so many worlds now. In terms of the most beautiful world, then yes, I can say it's Sulani. Like, Tomarang is a close second. I honestly think Innisgreen and Hempin on Bagley are pretty close as well in terms of being, really green and beautiful. That's very me. I'm not a cityscape kind of person. I prefer like a landscape and a pretty field over a city. So, worlds like that really do vibe with me, and I love beaches as well. So a beach world also vibes really nicely with me. So hard to say what would be my favorite world to build in. I don't know, because like different worlds have different lots and different things. Like you do have limitations when it comes to Sulani because, Sulani, you can't do ground pools and you can't do the basements and stuff because of the way the water works. So, you do have those sort of they're not huge limitations, but they are limitations nonetheless. It does sort of restrict you a little bit on some of these lots, what you can build and what you can't build. But I really do I do really enjoy making a beach build, and I do really enjoy, building a Sulani. So, but is it my favorite? I don't know. I have to debate that another time. Let's talk about the build a little bit. So, when I was thinking about what I wanted to build for this build challenge, I was going through like a whole lot of different options, and then I don't know, I just was in the mood to build a beach house. It's been a while since I've built a beach house. I do love building a beach house, and I was also in the mood to do a split level. So this is a split level beach house, split level modern beach house. Just to be even more difficult about it. So you can sort of see off to the side there, there's that little angled bit that is sticking out. So that's kind of my split level area. Like the main level of the house will be on that second level, and then that bottom level of the house off to the side with the diagonal section, that will be lifted up on rocks. And so that was kind of how I envisioned the split level thing working for this house. And then I wanted to lean into the volcanic rock that we got with the Island Living pack. So the volcanic rock that we got with, you can sort of see that all around in the background there as I'm zooming around and building things. There's that volcanic rock, and that comes in debug. And so I wanted to lean into that because I thought this lot was going to be really good for continuing on the idea of that volcanic rock kind of being on the side and then going into a reef into the water. So that was my vision for this particular house, is that it was kind of going to be sitting on a little sort of a volcanic rock reef going from land into water. And it was kind of contrasting the lightness of the beach versus the blackness of the volcanic rock. And the house is kind of a reflection of that contrast. So I think I managed to achieve that. I think we got there in the end. It was always, I don't know, I just kind of always feel like, I don't know, should we go dark in Sulani? I mean, Sulani just feels like it should be one of those worlds where everything in terms of the builds are all light and bright and beachy and, you know, so light and bright and beautiful. That it almost feels like a risk, and it feels weird saying this, but it feels like a risk building with black in a beach build. But is it? I don't think it is. I mean, we've got the swatches available to us with the Island Living pack. There's, look at all that volcanic rock in behind there. And, that's all sitting there, all black and, dark, and it works. I think it works. It's just, for some reason in my brain, it just feels like it's a little bit risky. It's not, but it's just like, it's one of those silly mental things that I get in my brain, and I don't know why I get them. This is actually a limited pack build as well. So this will end up being a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom build on a 30 by 30 lot. Yeah, because there's a bathroom downstairs, yes, a bathroom on each level, so 3 bathrooms. You can sort of see me building the reef here. So this is kind of the volcanic rock going into the reef. And the idea is that the house is kind of built around this reef that was already obviously there, and they built the house around it. So like the second level there is kind of resting on the rocks to a certain degree on that sticky out point. So that was the vision I had in my head. So I think I managed to pull that off. I was a little bit worried that the rocks would be causing difficulty in terms of the Sims moving around, but it was absolutely fine. I did play test it just to make sure that they could walk around and it would be okay. Back to the limited pack thing. So it is a limited pack. So it's Get to Work, Get Together, Island Living, Eco Lifestyle, Lovestruck, Businesses and Hobbies, and Dream Home Decorator. That's it for the packs. So it is a limited pack, so it should be nice and accessible for a lot of people up on the gallery, I hope. And you can sort of see the colours coming together there. So I used the wood from Businesses and Hobbies and then combined that with the stone from Island Living as well. So you kind of got that volcanic stone, again, just coming through in the build as well. And I just wanted to kind of, reflect the area around the build with the build itself. It's that there's kind of like natural look, I think, for the, for the house itself. Which I think, it works for me. Whether or not it works for you guys, I don't know the answer to that. I can merely build these things. It's up to you whether or not you like them. I actually had a few issues with this build. Not in the sense of my vision or what was sort of happening. It's just in terms of the game itself. At one point, and I think it was about this point actually, right before this point here, the game crashed and I did lose some progress. Fortunately, I had saved when I play tested a couple of things, so I didn't lose a great deal, just like some placement of furniture. So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, the game did crash and I did lose about, 15 minutes or so of build, 15 minutes of build time. So I did lose some bits and pieces, but it wasn't too hard to replace it all and redo it. But that, did have that happen. And for some reason, the crystal clear flooring that comes with Island Living, and I don't know why it was doing this, but no matter what I did, I couldn't really place items on there properly. So around the other side of the house on the, on the decks, there's the crystal flooring, and I've got tables and chairs and bits and pieces on there, and I could only put stuff on those sections if I moved, and you'll probably see me doing this at some point, if I moved the crystal clear flooring out of the way, place the items, and then put the crystal clear flooring underneath it. For some reason, it wouldn't let me place items on the crystal clear flooring, and this is unusual because I use that flooring all the time when I do beach houses, and I've never had that issue before, but it just seemed to be an issue this time around. So yeah, that was a little weird, a little frustrating as well, because I had a couple of sections with that flooring, and I was trying to decorate them, and I was just I can't put these things in place properly. They just won't go in. I did also use sunroofs around the place as well, so I had a couple of sections with the sunroofs. The little trim that I've used along the top of the roof, that kept on disappearing, so you might see me replacing that a couple of times. It just kept on disappearing. I don't know what it is, but sometimes you like will paint a wallpaper and it'll just take everything away on the roof that you've got next to it. Why that happens, I don't know. But there you go. There, I was just playing with the crystal flooring there. And also, I put a cute little reef in the bottom of the swimming pool. In the swimming pool, you'll notice that there's like what looks like windows, but is in fact mirrors. So the Get to Work pack, the reason that I've used that in this build, because that's a little bit of an anomaly as far as the packs that I've chosen goes, but the Get to Work pack has these one-way mirrors, and I wanted to, sure they're from Get to Work. Yeah, these one-way mirrors, and I wanted to have it so in that room there, and in the middle of the pool, like you could see out into the pool area, but you can't see in from the pool into that room. That's going to be our secret room. Shh, secrets. Anyway, so that's a pool, and it's kind of got like a little bit of a reef in there, and I thought that kind of matched the outside of the build as well. So, you know, just thinking about consistency in terms of bringing bits and pieces of the build here and there. And I love those little beach towels with the seahorses on them. I think they're so pretty. I was just like, oh, I'm going to include that. And then I put like a bar in there, and a dance floor as well will go in as well, because I thought, you know, we'll just have a little bit of fun. It isn't a kid. I didn't build this lot for kids. I think, you know, a teenager would be absolutely fine here, but I didn't actually build this with kids in mind. It was more of an adult kind of house, maybe a holiday getaway house as well. I mean, if you wanted to turn it into a vacation rental, I think you could very much do that as well. Whatever way you want to do it. Can you have vacation rentals in Sulani? It's just rentals in Sulani, right? There's something you couldn't do in Sulani. I think it's rental lots. Not that I'm playing around with rental lots at the moment anyway, just because it's a little glitchy, but, well, little death buggy. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So, as you can see here, I am starting on the secret room. I'm not going to tell you guys what the idea of it is. I want to know whether or not you guys can figure it out, what the secret might be. But I don't think I was overly subtle. So I think you can probably figure it out. I kind of did the room, and then I put some bits and pieces in there, and then I kind of went back to it a little bit later and just like tweaked a couple of things in there because I had a couple of other ideas. So the telescope ends up coming out of there. I kept the seat, and I kept the treasure chest. But yeah, I just put a couple of other things in there. I think just like heavier clues as to what's going on in this room. But I think it's probably fairly obvious. It wasn't a subtle, it wasn't a subtle secret at all. But hey, it's a secret, and it's a secret room. It's behind one of those secret door bookcases. So, you know, I did it. I did a secret. So in terms of the interior, I wanted to do the contrasting interior color, or the little pop of color that I wanted to have on the interior as green. I will quite often go blue in Sulani. I mean, I love working with blue in a beach house. I think it works really nicely, and blue is quite frankly the best color to work with in the game as far as like colors go, like not your neutral palette. It's a non-neutral color palette, you know, like your greens, reds, blues, yellows, that sort of thing. Blue is by far the best. It has the best amount of swatches with it. It's the easiest to work with, and it looks really good. But I decided that I wanted to go green this time, so I went green just to mix it up a little bit. I was feeling in a green mood, what can I say? So this is the downstairs area. So this is kind of the area that you can only access from either the water or from going in through the front door. And so downstairs there's going to be like the secret room. You've got a little living space, you've got a bathroom, and then you've got the bedroom, which is right over here. And again, just leaning into the green. I ended up just sort of looking at this and thinking, it's quite big and flat, so let's mix that up. And you can see here, I'm putting in a platform. I was initially going to have steps up to the platform, but because it was actually a low height wall, there wasn't enough space to do that, so I ended up having to go boom, boom, down one. I was also toying with the idea of going with sand around the bed, and I was just like, oh, how annoying would that be? So I couldn't quite do that. I also was initially going with a green kind of marble, and then it was just like too much green. So I changed that to the eco lifestyle sort of mid-brown flooring, and I thought that looked a lot better. And I kind of leaned into like the different colored wood there as well. So like a sort of that reddy mid-colored brown wood, and I feel like that sort of stood out against the green and worked really nicely with the bed as well. And then did like a big sort of four-poster curtains around the bed kind of thing. Almost medieval in nature, but it worked. So yeah, so that'll change a little bit as we go on. But oh yeah, I was toying with the idea of having it fenced off, and I was like, I've got the curtains there. Why do I need a fence? Also, because I had the Dream Home Decorator pack, which is, honestly, I love building with that pack because having the different little sections and things that you can kind of mix and match together are quite fun to build with. But I hardly ever use it in builds unless I'm doing a really, mixed pack build. But I quite often do limited pack builds, and just for some reason that is one of those packs that does get, it gets a little bit overlooked by me. So this time around, because I actually wanted the sectional sofas on the top little tower area, I decided that I would have Dream Home Decorator in this particular build. So, hello, Dream Home Decorator. It made an entrance in this build, and it made me happy because I got to do like a big wardrobe and just like kind of mix and match it all together, and I thought it was really cute, so I had fun with that. It's been a long time since I've got to build with it. Oh, this is me just having a weird play around with the colors because I was like, do I want to go darker? And then I was like, no, because it's just so completely different to the other colored wood that I had from Island Living that it was just going to be a non-match. So I didn't go in that direction. I just went with more blending with the walls kind of direction, and I felt that looked a little better. It's just, that's the only problem with the Dream Home Decorator pack, is that the wood colors are really off. When you compare them to like base game and some of the other packs, it's just, yeah, the wood colors are really, really off, which is the only thing that, I mean, not the only thing, but it's one of the things that really does hold me back from using the Dream Home Decorator pack, unless I really lean hard into using that pack, and then I can use that wood consistently throughout the house. But if I know that I'm not going to be using that consistently around the house, I get frustrated with the fact that they mismatch. But this time around, I decided to not be so fussy and just let things not match. So it was very brave of me. I felt like I was being very brave there. Not going for a full-on matchy-matchy thing. I hope you guys don't judge me for it. I was trying not to be so fussy. Not always easy, but sometimes I try. So this is the downstairs bathroom. I actually really liked the bath on the angle with the planter in behind it. I think that looked really nice. And then I was using one of the clear walls as like a divider for the shower. So that was basically it. I was contemplating putting the shower on there, but it looked a little weird, so went with it on the side instead. And I love that tile that I'm using. It's from Lovestruck. Oh, this is the little fixes that I'm making to the big clue there. To the little secret room. So I found the little starfishes and like the mermaid tail. Uh-oh, did I just give away the secret? Yeah, I found that down there. Oh, and you know what I did in this is the ground level, or sorry, the middle level. So this is the entrance sort of main floor. And I divided off the kitchen from the rest of the living and dining, because I just thought, wouldn't it be great to have a separate kitchen? I would quite often in houses like this, I would go with an open living plan, and I was very, very tempted to. But I thought, you know what, let's just divide off the kitchen. We'll have it open with some open doorways. But yeah, I think by having the divided off kitchen, it did give me some clear sections in the space as well. So there is a clear sort of dining room space, there's a clear kitchen space, and there's a clear sort of like small lounge space. Like the living room space isn't particularly huge, but there's like a TV and there's couches and there's a dartboard and bits and pieces. So, you kind of get that space. And it did allow me also, as you can see there, to do some contrast walls as well using the Businesses and Hobbies pack. That little diamond wallpaper swatch. I really love that. I use it all the time in modern homes. I think it's fantastic, and I really enjoy using that particular wallpaper. It's just, there aren't a lot of, there really isn't. now that I'm going to get onto that subject, there really isn't a great deal of modern wallpapers that you can use in this game. There's a real lack of them. There's like the Lovestruck one with the big flowers on them, but they're very dramatic and they could only suit certain rooms. There isn't a lot of neutral wallpapers that look really good in a modern house without being like totally plain. Like this is why I kind of use the totally plain wallpapers a lot, just because there's a real lack of them. And I want more modern wallpapers in the game that have a sort of like a more neutral sort of, not necessarily neutral colors, but, you know, sort of like a little bit more of a neutral swatch on them so they can be used more flexibly? With more flexibility throughout the builds. So I just did like a little entertainment unit here. So just using cabinets as well as the little coffee tables from Dream Home Decorator. The way that I got the counters there shrunk down is by using dishwashers, shrinking down the dishwashers within the cabinet, and then that gave me the shelf on top. It's just a little trick, you know. And then using those, I really love the choice of the couches that I had in this build. I think it worked really nicely. They're from Island Living, and I don't use them that often, but they really are quite lovely. And then off to the side, I'm just doing like a little llama game set because I thought, you know, if you want to use it as like a little bit more of a holiday house, you know, that's the kind of table that you would have in a holiday house where you'd have like an activity that you can kind of do together and when you're entertaining and stuff. So I thought that would be fun. And even if you don't use it as a holiday home, I mean, you know, it's something that can be fun for people to have a bit of social time together with. So there. And then this is my kitchen. I struggled with the lights. Like, I really struggled. I just wanted like a couple of nice lights. And I like, there was a light that I liked, but it was just like so dull, it was doing nothing. So I ended up going with the Dream Home Decorator ones, which were a bit brighter, but not exactly the look I was going for, but they were brighter and they were doing the trick. And then I always forget about the fact that we have these shelves from Island Living because they're not in the counter section. They're in the surfaces shelving, I think it's called, section. And, you know, they kind of just stand alone by themselves in that area, but they're so good for kitchens and they match the beautiful kitchen counters that we got with Island Living. Like, I love the counters from Island Living. Yeah, I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Particularly when you can do the ends on them, because I think that really adds to it, but it just kind of looked a bit off with me having the two shorter counters on either side, so I ended up not going in that direction. But I did have a breakfast bar, and then you can see like the ends going into that little area there, which is going to be my little coffee and tea and microwave section. So I think it's because I like the fact that it has the covered ends, and it also has like the wicker drawers on them. It's just like something a little bit different and decorative and quite pretty. And I'm just popping the coffee cups on top of the microwave in a little coffee bag. That's a debug item in the tea. So there we go. And then we're up to the top floor, the final floor. And it's going to be a bedroom and a bathroom up there. So 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms total. And again, I'm just digging into the green because we're just doing green throughout basically. And adding in through this, it did... Oh yeah, I had to change a couple of things around just because with the way it was set out, it just didn't quite allow the Sims to get in there and get up to the 3rd floor. But it wasn't much. I think it was just like shifting around like one of the what is it? The shelving units that I put in there. And excuse my voice, I'm still recovering from being sick. The little ladder is the ladder that goes up to the like little lookout tower up the top. So there's like a little seating space right up the top of the build, and that takes you straight up there. So you can go up to the top little tower up through this bedroom. I went with a little bit of the darker furnishings with this room. I just felt like that worked really nicely with the darker green swatch that I ended up using, and worked well with the color of the wood swatch on the bed. So yeah, it's just coordinated a little bit better having that darker wood swatch in with this particular room, and I think it helped it sort of stand out better as well. So that made me happy. I thought that was really cute. Got a TV in there, couches, so you know there's plenty of TV sort of entertainment space in this build, I feel like. And then that sort of goes outside. I did switch the table on this level with a chess table just so that you had a chess option in this build as well. You know, a little bit of skill building stuff around the place. Obviously, you've got the whole ocean out there for fitness, so that's quite handy. And then this is the final room in the build, which is going to be, as you can tell, a bathroom. So it's a nice spacious bathroom. You've got like a big tub, big that corner tub. Got some storage stuff, you know, all around the place, the basics, the table, and not the tables, the toilet, and little bits and pieces around the bath and stuff. So yeah, I think that was a really nice, I would be happy with this kind of ensuite, you know, with a little bit of storage in it, as well as like a big old bath and everything like that. Some prettiness. I would be very happy. Anyway, we're getting towards the end of the build, so I want to say a big thank you for hanging out with me today on the beach in Sulani. I hope you guys had a good time. I'm going to leave you guys to enjoy the tours. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.